The platform is all yours. Sharing of the fourth merit today. Kan Ern?
And then Sister Stephanie. I don't have many slides, and my sharing this evening, the pages are only 8 pages from page 423 to 431. So my sharing this evening is on the 4 merits, which is almost halfway. And when I talk about halfway, it reminds me that I'm the middle child in a family, in my family. And I know what it feels like to be sharing something in the middle. You miss out on the excitement of the first and the comfort and manja of the youngest, of the last. Anyway, it's good to do a short recap to get all of you back to the beginning of chapter 3, the first merit. But before we do that, what is the 10 merits about? The 10 merits is about the achievements and accomplishments that we can attain from the practices carried out in chapter 2, expounding the Dharma, with the realization that the essence of the Dharma is the same, whether it's given orally, in written words, or performed on stage. Just like water from different sources, they possess the same essence and can still cleanse. The first merit says that from the fundamental teachings in the Buddha's virtues that we must acquire, learn and acquire, we can develop bodhicitta and gain the power to transform ourselves and others. The essential teachings are the 4 infinite minds and the 6 parameters. The 4 infinite minds are loving kindness, joy, compassion, and equanimity. And the 6 parameters are giving, upholding precepts, joy, compassion. And the 6 parameters are giving, upholding precepts, patience, diligence, samadhi, and wisdom. So these are the necessary tools. Together with the faith in our hearts, we can start the journey of accomplishment. The second merit, from 1 to infinity, and infinity arises from 1. This sutra is likened to a seed extending from 1 to bear the fruits of millions. Similarly, one Dharma can have infinite meanings. Everything starts from 1. The 1 can be 1 second of time, a grain of sand, a droplet of water, and all these small tiny bits accumulating to infinity. The third merit, from hearing just 1 verse or 1 phrase or 1 sentence, even though we may think it's inadequate and far away from the 4 infinite minds and the 6 parameters that we have talked about just now, we can activate the power and wisdom of our minds to transform others. We will have faith and believe that even though the quantity of what we do seems small, very small and insignificant, if we keep accumulating and do not give up, we will succeed. Master Ching Yen started Tzu Chi charity mission with just 50 cents Taiwan money from 30 housewives to become a global organization spread over the 5 continents. As we all know, Master's body is not healthy, But with a sturdy boat, she can still help all of us to cross the river of samsara. So we talk about sturdy boat is a depth of Dharma and her infinite compassion. Just to have a quick overview, what is today's fourth merit? It refers to an analogy of the newborn prince who has just begun to acquire some of the fundamentals in the first merit, started to accumulate the droplets in the second merit, and started to build up strength with faith and diligence in the third merit. Help will come from living bodhisattvas, benefactors, and spiritual friends to fulfill us, train us, and develop us, helping us to cultivate and improve our skills and patiently guide us on the path. Now we go into the details of the main stanza on page 423. Okay, the fourth merit is inconceivable. All Buddhas will protect us and keep us in their thoughts. Although we have not yet delivered ourselves, we can deliver others. All bodhisattvas are our companions on the path. We are like the newborn prince of the king. Though very young and not able to manage the affairs of the state, he is already respected by his ministers and citizens. The king and queen love him and regularly converse with him. Okay, so this is the main stanza on page 423. You will notice that we are talking about the SIM, Sutra of Infinite Meanings. So there's not many words in this stanza, and you will find out later from my sharing that a lot of these words, when we really deeply think about it, has got actually many meanings, and you can see it from different angles and get a different meaning as well. So that's why you may later see that I'm repeating certain things, but then the meaning is slightly different, right? In the different context. Although we have not yet delivered ourselves, we can deliver others. At present, we are still unenlightened beings. We may be newly inspired spiritual cultivators or already walking on the path. As we progress in the learning and the understanding of the wisdom passed down by the Buddhas and sages, whatever principles we have understood thus far, we can pass on to and benefit others, as what Master Ching Yen always encouraged us to do. If it's right, just do it. Brother Christopher Young is an excellent example of a young newborn prince of the king, the Bodhisattva child. He was living in the US, and his parents sent him back to Hualien, Taiwan to study Chinese, the Chinese language during the summer vacation break. Between the ages of 7 to 10 years old. Then from the tender age of 11 years old, he started to give talks to groups of volunteers multiple times of his age. I think afterwards you see in the video who are the audience listening to him. He started being a vegetarian at 3 years old by his own choice. Right? After observing how a fish swimming in a tank in a fish shop is caught with a net, cruelly killed, the shop person slammed the fish onto the counter and then kill it and then chop into slices. So from that moment onwards, he told his parents that he wants to be a vegetarian. Okay, let's view and listen Brother Christopher's explanation on what is Nirvana. Let's learn something from him.
People have impure thoughts in their mind, and when they connect with the outside world, they end up with a lot of greed for money and for objects that they may not even use. But this is actually something that makes our heart dark, and it's the dark corners of our heart that make us so painful. So before we get into this, I'd like to explain how we can change this and how we can bring ourselves to the next level. And this comes from a really simple equation, which is impure roots plus the connection to the world results in afflictions. This is true because last time my experience with depression and a lot of pressure came from an impure root thinking that I had to do these things and I didn't like them. And I connected to the world, which was all of my classes, which resulted in my strong affliction. But as long as you give up your impure roots, your impure thoughts, eventually afflictions will go away. And that is what leaves you nirvana. Master Cheng Yen once said, eliminating the darkness of our heart and preserving tranquility in our soul creates the moment of nirvana. This is a really strong sentence because many people in the world believe that nirvana is being dead, disconnected from the world, and without any pressure. But there is a way that we can stay in the world and still experience nirvana without any disconnections or any special moves. And to be quick about this, connecting with the world without impurities is what nirvana is. I'd like to mention Isaac Newton's laws of physics. He had 3 of them about motion, and one of them was an object with motion stays in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. But I think that we can also reform this to something that's more suitable in our place right now. And that is afflictions will continue to burn until its source is acted upon an unbalanced and terminating force. And this terminating force is really our goal for our life, and our goal for Buddhism and cultivation. And this terminating force is what gives us power to move on and get back to our roots. We have stepped into our first right step in the right place and in the right time. And this is the most important step toward our cultivation. But we also have a mission too. In Tzu Chi, we have a mission to bring nirvana to everyone in this world. It's not only a matter of giving ourselves peace and tranquility, but it's also sharing that with everyone we see and the 7 billion people in our world population.
Yeah.
Have
So you have just heard from Brother Christopher Young about what is Nirvana, right? And Nirvana is not about being disconnecting from this world. Right? You notice that he also mentioned about Tzu Chi's mission, and this very likely is also his mission, right, in the future, and that's to bring nirvana to the 7 billion people in this world. And that's a huge task ahead of him. There's a huge wow as well. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is seize the moment. Opportunities to help others depends on affinities and the ripening of causes and conditions. We need to seize the moment to help others and do not let the chance to do good deeds slip away. Everyone has their own unique affinities with others, and as such, the opportunities do not happen equally for everyone. How many opportunities of performing a random act of kindness can you think of that you missed out in the past few days? We have many such occasions every day. Just a smile and a simple hello is a good deed that can build good affinities with anyone. A simple good deed can create a ripple effect that may result in a chain of good happenings, bringing joy to many. Like what I do most mornings, exercise and go out for a brisk walk, and then you will meet some people who are doing the same thing, having a walk in the morning as well. So that smile and the wave of the hand really makes a lot of difference, and you will create good affinities in the future. Okay, let's watch this video on how someone performs random acts of kindness on complete strangers.
Miss, I did this painting of you. It's just a random act of kindness. Here's a gift. Open it up.
Oh my goodness, you did this with me right now?
Yeah.
You're so talented.
Excuse me, miss? Miss, I did this painting of you. Yeah, you can take it home. It's a gift. Happy Friday.
I don't know what to say. That's like the nicest thing anyone's ever done.
You're welcome.
Can I take you out, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, just take it home. It's a gift. It's just a random act of kindness.
So this guy has chosen to use his talents to do his random acts of kindness on the subway trains. And you notice that one of them, this girl, is so lost for words, and she probably haven't encountered this type of random act of kindness done for her before in her life. So that's why she is so lost for words and don't know what to say. Yeah, it really touched a lot of people. So you can do the same thing too. You have some sort of talent, you can do your own random act of kindness. Life is short. Yeah, our lifespan in this world is relatively short, tens of years only, compared to our spiritual cultivation journey, which can take eons or kalpas to accomplish. But we need to start now to learn and understand the Dharma, put into practice, and start doing that little bit at a time, and let it accumulate. We as householders usually struggle to manage our time between family, career, and business, and our social interactions, leaving us with very little time on our spiritual cultivation, as most people don't set very high priorities for it. As Master advised, do not even let 1 second go to waste. Here, I would like to share two of Master's Tzu aphorisms. Each day will come only once and never repeated. Each second the same. We must cherish each moment and use it wisely. This reminds me of the principle that we only have, each one of us have the same 24 hours a day. But I know of some people who can really do so much more than what I ever can. They are involved in so many organizations, right? Doing very good work, right? Including charity work and also professional organizations. And it's amazing how they can manage their time so well. Right? So we can learn to do the same and make every second count, as what Master wants us to do. The second sincere aphorism, this is one of my favorite. We cannot control the length of life, but we can always expand the breadth and depth of life. Life is impermanent. Life is only exists in between breath. So it can be anytime, right? So we can do the most that we can do in whatever time that we have. So when we talk about the breadth and the depth of life, is how much we can do to benefit your friends, your family, and those people in your community. And being in Tzu Chi, it really helps because there's such a great variety of activities that we can do. And these are not things that you're doing for yourself, but you can do it for the benefit of others and in a way helping yourself as well. We can always do more with whatever little we have and keep on doing it. Whatever little we have can have multiple meanings, right? Just like in the SIM, such as the little we have in Dharma skills, the little in time that we have, the little money that we have, the little resources that we have, the little talents that we have, like the video, the wisdom that we have, and the intelligence. All that can be put into good use. Even a little of it can make a big difference. Especially those that have been too involved in their careers, chasing after the material part of life and have not spent enough time on the spiritual part of our life. We have not yet delivered ourselves can mean unenlightened beings like us who may not be young in age, but newly inspired beings in the process of learning and understanding Dharma principles. Our minds are being nourished And in the process of transformation, as we begin to absorb the fundamental principles of the four infinite minds and practice the 6 parameters and other principles of the first merit, such as developing the will to transform others, the will to practice the 10 good deeds. And what are these 10 good deeds? There are 3 of the body, 4 of the speech, and 3 of the mind. So the first few are the actually the Buddhist precepts. No killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lying, no malicious speech, no harsh speech, no gossips, no greed, no anger, and no ignorance. The will to develop an uncontriving mind, a non-retreating mind, a mind free of leaks, and develop a mind to eliminate afflictions. So this mind to eliminate afflictions, we have to get back to understanding the Four Noble Truths, understand what is suffering and how we can eliminate suffering by getting rid of our afflictions. We need to change our mindsets and correct our negative habitual tendencies accumulated from past lives. Understanding and realizing the fundamental teachings is extremely important because it becomes the foundation on which we build our future cultivations. And it must be able to support well the whole 10 merits of the SIM, which will be sitting on it. We can liken it to constructing a multi-story building, for example, which requires a very strong foundation. If the foundation is weak, cracks will appear and we have to repair. It's very difficult and costly to strengthen the foundations underneath an existing building. So in a really bad situation, the building may even collapse, which I'm sure many of you would have come across the articles and stories of this collapse of buildings, especially on the hill slopes. So as we progress, challenges will inevitably appear, and if the foundations are weak, the crisis will set us back and may even stop our progress. Then we have to reflect, contemplate to gain new insights, and may need to unlearn, to relearn, and correct any deviations before getting back to the path and head in the right direction. Master always talk about, no deviation, not even the slightest deviation, because one small deviation, and if it's left unchecked for a long time, it's going to lead us way off the course, and getting back will be a problem. Respected by its ministers and citizens, as we learn the fundamental teachings of the four infinite minds and the 6 parameters, we develop and start to perfect our conduct and character. The ministers and citizens respect us because of our good conduct and character, which is reflected in what we practice internally and externally displayed in our demeanors and good deeds that we carry out. We can become role models to influence others to join in the walk, the Bodhisattva path together. In Tzu Chi, living Bodhisattvas will be our constant companions, who are also our guides, our benefactors, and mentors. We always be close to the good and the wise under Master Cheng Yan's guidance, walking without deviation on the path. When we diligently persist and carry on doing bit by bit, help will appear when needed. A few months ago, just to share one incident, while reviewing Brother Lau's PPT for his sharing session, the book study panel had a long discussion on what is the first merit about. Is it about faith, bodhicitta, or something else? So we had to go and do some research, on the internet and in the books, sutras. And finally, we came to the conclusion that it does refer to the bodhicitta. In the meantime, I posted a question to Brother Jo Huang on this matter. And a few Sundays ago, he answered the question indirectly by sharing his contemplation on the 10 merits. Before Brother Joe's Sunday sharing, I was really struggling to understand the Sutra of Infinite Meanings as a whole, right? What I call a helicopter view or a high-level view, what it is about, and how to prepare for my sessions on the fourth merit. So I'm blessed indeed to find that help appeared, right, in the form of Brother Jo Huang's sharing, and it came at the right time as well. So to every one of you, have courage and take up whatever challenges that come to you. The joy of sharing and the accomplishment is wonderful. Newly inspired, unenlightened being, everyone, regardless of who we are, intrinsically has an enlightened nature, but it has been covered by layers and layers of afflictions over many lifetimes. In our present lifetime, whenever it may be, whether we are still young or old, we have the blessings to encounter the Dharma and found a great teacher like Master Ching Yen. We will begin to cultivate. From the SIM, the Lotus Sutra, we will learn, understand the principles and realize the wisdom passed down by the Buddha and put into practice. There are so many activities that we can be involved in, beneficial activities, and such volunteers will have no problems getting involved in so many activities organized for them, right, that they can take part in, whether it's charity or the CBI or recycling. There are so many, except that now that we have this COVID situation and the MCO, so all these external activities temporarily stop. So now is the time that we have to go and do our own self-training, right, and online activities. So we will find great joy and those activities will benefit us immensely. So we will naturally be inspired to share and pass on to others our newfound realizations. Forming aspirations and making great vows will definitely give us greater strength and commitments and help us to overcome all our obstacles and obstructions during our progress, knowing fully well that the Buddhas and Dharma protectors will be supporting us along the way. So I want to share a video with you. This is about Brother Faisal and his home sister in Turkey. This is such a wonderful example of bodhisattvas fulfilling their vows. So it's a short video clip. Okay, in the meantime, Brother Faisal actually only joined know about Tzu Chi in the year 2000, and he's been in Turkey the last few years. And they managed to set up this school called Minahil School in 2015.
我们把这个550个名额拿在手上，跑去找谁？找当地的教育局长，跟他讲：“你是教育局长，我们是你的兵，我们来帮助你的。”教育局长觉得很奇怪，他说：“我是教育局长，你凭什么来帮助我？”我们说啊，你的国家里面60万个孩子不读书，今天不读书。 不用2年，这些孩子呢，想要读书也没办法读了。你要给他多少钱，他也不会去读书了。你的国家充斥着60万个不读书的人，不读书的孩子，将来影响到的不光是他们啊，影响到是你的儿子、你的女儿。他说对，来，我们一起合作。所以我们就在这样子呢，在隔年，也就是2015年的1月24号。 我们开始的第一所学校，这所学校叫做满纳海中小学。满纳海是阿拉伯文的 al-manah 的意思，意思是什么？沙漠中的泉源的意思。在这个知识的沙漠里面，终于有这一个学校给这些孩子教育的给养。这个是第一天，爸爸妈妈带着孩子终于来上学了，好几年没有读到书了。这个孩子在我们 读书这个开学的之后半年，土耳其政府说不得了，你们的这一个学校啊，已经做了一个革命性的这个创举。什么创举呢？联合国都找不到的方法，你们满纳海找到了。我们明年要用你们的模式来帮助更多的孩子。结果呢，果然在过了1年之后，我们开学之后的1年。 土耳其政府和这个 UNICEF 联合国一起合作，做了一个什么？做了一个叫做“教育不能等”的计划。这个计划就是以我们满纳海的学校作为蓝图，作为模范，然后来帮助这一些小孩子。总共帮助了多少人？帮助了35万到40万个孩子回学校去读书。终于如意师姐的愿望。 让这些孩子终于能够背着书包去上课的愿望、心愿达成了。可是，还有一些像这样子的孩子，各位看看，这个孩子他的眼神是多么悲伤啊！原来在那个地方，我们免费让他们读书也没有办法，这些孩子还是没办法来。6岁到16岁的孩子都得要去打工啊！ 当时像这样子的孩子，各位看一下，我要给各位看一个影片。这个孩子叫做阿里，阿里呢一天工作13个小时，只有13分钟上厕所的时间。
即使幻想让生活偶尔好过一点，小阿里还是有撑不过去的时候。
Sabahtan erken kalkıyorum ya, dışarısı kar donmuş soğuk, ben de uyanamıyorum, biraz uyku var, kalkmak da zorundayım, işe giderken biraz zorlanıyorum, soğuk.
So we can see from the video that was Brother Faisal's home sister who made that vow to bring all those kids wandering in the streets to get them into the school. And after a lot of challenges, they managed to set up that school, meaning health school, and there's 3,000 plus students now. And they've also become the so-called the role model for the rollout of other schools that will make the availability of schooling to 35 to 40,000 refugee children a dream come true for them. So this next generation of refugees, they would have schooling, and in this particular school, the certificate that they will get is recognized by the Turkey government and also recognized by the US. So they have a bright future with that education in that refugee school. So we are like the newborn prince of the king. You can see that this is a repeat, but the meaning is different. Because the king and queen are likened to the Buddha and the Dharma, the prince they give birth to is a bodhisattva child. These ministers and citizens are like Dharma protectors to safeguard bodhisattvas. So as Buddhist disciples, we are indeed precious and rare because there are only 535 million Buddhists in the world today, quite current figures. The active ones who actually practice the Buddhism and learn the sutras may only be about 10% of this figure, which is about 53 million. And that will represent less than 1% of the world population of 7 billion. So how many people do we need to pass on the Dharma to in order to influence a change in the world's opinion and beliefs? So I've done a little bit of research on the internet, and I found two articles. One is was published in July 2011. A group of scientists at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute found that when just 10% of the population holds an unshakable belief, that belief will always be adopted by the majority of the society. So this is what we call the tipping point for the spread of ideas. In June 2018, there's another group of researchers from the University of Pennsylvania and the University of London in their social experiment found that a committed minority of at least 25% of the population is needed to trigger the tipping point for social change. So from these two studies, we have some idea how many like-minded people are needed to influence world opinion. So if we want to change the world, we may need 10 to 25% of the population. But when Master asked the question, who will win in a tug of war? The answer is the side with the most people. So this is the 100% sure way. But we can be optimistic, and we can try with the 10 to 25% of staunch supporters, as per those studies which I mentioned just now. But no matter what the actual numbers are, the purifying of people's minds is still a monumental task. Looking at the numbers, right? 10% is 700 over million people, right? So, as Master says, we are just ants at the foot of Mount Sumeru or Mount Everest, aspiring to reach the peak. So if I ask you, each one of you, is it achievable? Can it be accomplished? What will be your answer? We'll just do a polling question, then we'll see what do all of you think. Can put in your answers now. At least have a quick understanding of what everyone is thinking about this matter. Maybe you have an answer that's out of those four possible answers, but try to pick one that's closest to what you think. Okay.
Okay.
Can we end the polling? So we have all of the 20 people who answered took part in the answering the question. 18 of them answered C. One of them B and D. None of them is A. This is a very optimistic and very and a group of people that's got very high faith in Buddha Dharma. Okay, let's carry on. I have another video. This one will actually want to share with you so that you can also realize, how blessed you are. When I first looked at this video, it really made me think about my own situation. So when you watch a video, you try to identify yourself in the groupings, and then you see where you are in terms of the what percentage of the grouping you are in terms of the world population. So you have the
Roughly 7.6 billion people share life on planet Earth, and that number is growing all the time. That's a lot of people. To understand what it actually means, let's simplify things a bit. Close your eyes and imagine what it would look like if the entire world was a village of just 100 people. In our global village, 50 people would be women and 50 men. A quarter of the village, 25 people, would be children under the age of 14. 66 villagers would be adults between the ages of 15 and 64, and the remaining 9 people would be over the age of 65. Looking at the world map, just 5 of our 100 villagers would come from North America. 9 would hail from Latin America and the Caribbean, 10 from Europe, 16 from Africa, and a whopping 60 people would be from Asia. Australia's population, even if you include the neighboring islands, wouldn't even add up to 1 person in our global village. Our 100 villagers would hold many different religious beliefs. We would have 31 Christians, 23 Muslims, 15 Hindus, and 7 Buddhists. All the other religions would be represented by 8 people, and 16 people wouldn't identify with any particular religion. We would be a polyglot village too, speaking many languages. Considering only native speakers, 12 people would speak Mandarin, the largest group. 6 would speak Spanish, 5 English, 4 Hindi, 3 would speak Arabic, 3 Bengali, and 3 Portuguese. 2 would speak Russian, 2 Japanese, and a significant majority, 60 people, would speak nearly 7,000 other languages. 2/3 of our village, which is 66 people, wouldn't have access to safe, affordable surgery, and 33 people wouldn't be able to afford the medicine they need. 9 people wouldn't have access to clean, safe drinking water. 14 wouldn't have access to toilets of any kind. 22 would have no shelter from the wind and rain. 1 villager would be dying of starvation, and another 11 would be undernourished. 22 would be overweight. 86 people in our village would be able to read and write, which means 14 would be illiterate. Of those 14, 2/3 would be women. Only 66 would finish high school, and of them, only 7 villagers would go on to hold a college degree. While 18 people wouldn't have access to electricity, only 5 would not have access to a cell phone network. 47 people would be active internet users, which means 53 villagers would never be able to post photos, research anything online, or watch this video. Before we can change the world for the better, we need to understand what our world is like today. This is who we are. Imagine our village 50 years from now. What would you want it to look like then? Now open your eyes. There are 7.6 billion people waiting to see what you can do.
I'm not sure what you can do, but we have just heard from Brother Christopher Young that he will bring Nirvana to the 7 billion people of this world. Right? So he knows what he can do or what he wants to do. Okay, this is the stanza on 428. Next slide. Reduce desires and cultivate contentment. Our mind is greatly influenced by external conditions and controlled by our habitual tendencies. So if we always feel that we don't have enough, it will be very hard for our wisdom to arise. This reminds me of my father, who was poor when we were children, and he had to have a second job, planting crops during the weekends just so to keep the family fed and clothed. Just like everyone else that he knows, he dreams of being richer. So every month, but he don't have much money, yeah? So every month, he will go out and buy one or more social welfare lottery tickets. And when the results are published in the papers, ask me to check the numbers and see whether he has won any prizes. So over the 30 plus years that he's been buying the lottery tickets, it's become a bad habit, and it's given him and his children false expectations. And in the end, he never won a single cent over the 30 plus year period that he's been buying the lottery. So he has let his desires cover up his wisdom, and he has gone astray, holding the greed in his thoughts. So nowadays, my children don't gamble, and I say that that's the best thing to do. You don't gamble, you're winning every day. Next. Upholding the teachings and practice them. So we should not let the Buddha's teachings remain as ink on paper or remain as a memory in the dark corners of our minds. is to be used and not securely kept away like buried treasure or in a bank vault. This treasure cannot be stolen, cannot be destroyed or burned by others, and we can take it as safely anywhere, even to our next life. So as the saying goes, practice makes perfect. Whatever we practice diligently every day, we get good at it. And when we get better at it, we will joyfully do it until it becomes a habit. Right? So it's a good habit. That's very good. Huh? To reduce desires, we practice giving and compassion, which are the principles in the 6 parameters and the 4 infinite minds. Having few desires is the secret to great wealth. So it's equally true for both spiritual wealth and material wealth as well. So I'm sure you would have heard of many stories of the rich and famous who build their fortunes based on a lifestyle of thrift and prudence. So this Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world, is a good example of that. He has been living in that same house for the past 20 to 30 years, and that house is in a normal suburb. It's not in a high-class rich people's area. And even though he can afford virtually any house in the world, right? Then he's driving the same car, 10, 20-year-old car, and he doesn't have a driver, and he doesn't own even an iPhone, right? So, and on normal weekends, he'll be having lunch. He'll just drive over to the nearest McDonald's and it's lunch there. So this is how thrifty, some people like him are, one of the richest people in the world, and this is the type of thrift that they practice in their life. Okay, I have a short video clip. So let's see this video about this little bodhisattva advising us on what we should practice every day.
So my question to you today is, what do you practice every day? What do you practice? Because what you practice, you will get good at. What do you practice? Do you practice joy in your life? Do you practice peace in your life? Do you practice happiness in your life? Or do you practice a lot of complaining? Because if you complain, you will get very good at it. And you will get so good at it that you will find fault with everything. Even when there's no fault that a layman cannot see, you, being an expert, will see it. What do you practice? You practice anger. Because if you practice anger, you will get very good at it. And you will get so good at it that the most trivial you'll think. Trivial thing will make you angry.
Yeah, so this
My question to you
little bodhisattva has already shared with us. What do we practice every day? Yeah, whatever teachings we learn, we put into practice. So that's how we can get better and better at it. Yeah, next I would like to talk about Tzu Chi. So why talk about Tzu Chi? Tzu Chi is such a unique organization, and is founded based on the principles of the Sutra of Infinite Meanings and the Lotus Sutra. So there are so many different views and perspectives to look at it from different angles, and also from a macro to the micro level. To me, is multifaceted and does not conform to any one particular shape or form, both in the organizational structure and the activities that you carry out, and also the diversity of the volunteers in the organization worldwide, which is spread over the 5 continents. She grows organically, spreads itself by organic growth through affinities and needs, and can adapt to any country or region, fitting in harmoniously with the local people, its culture and customs and religious leanings, benefiting all beings equally through the organized activities of the 4 missions and the 8 footprints. Tzu Chi now has officers in more than 60 countries and left footprints in more than 200 countries around the world. So the important thing is, when we join Tzu Chi, it's like being a newborn prince. The same words again, a newborn prince, a living bodhisattva emerging from the ground. Tzu Chi, in a way, is like an open university with no entry requirements, except for a sincere heart, and is a place to undertake on-the-job training amongst a group of like-minded people in a big family, each cultivating to get rid of their own bad habitual tendencies, purify their own minds, and change their character to mirror that of a true bodhisattva. Going into the masses to help the needy relieve their sufferings, and also benefiting themselves with Dharma joy and gaining new understanding and realization of life's universal truth, spurring the process of learning, unlearning, and relearning to get back to our true Buddha nature. Tzu Chi is such a wondrous creation, transforming one and many, bearing fruits in inconceivable proportions and infinite ways. So if you are in Tzu Chi, you are in the right organization, and you seem so familiar during this book study and the SIM. Okay, I've come to virtually the end of my sharing. Okay, what is the fourth merit about? So, fourth merit, to my mind, refers to us, the beginners of whatever age. As a bodhisattva child, we are precious and will be protected, nourished, guided, trained, and fulfilled. That's what the sutra tells us. So to summarize, when we enter Tzu Chi, we have already started our journey walking the path of the Sutra of Infinite Meanings, getting to know who we are. We ask back our question, why join Tzu Chi when we first joined Tzu Chi? Right? Then you know who you are, who we can be. We refer to chapter 1, virtues of the Bodhisattvas and Buddhas, and the characters that we want to build. Learn to use the tools and the vehicles for change and transformation internally and externally in chapter 2, expounding the Dharma. And then achieve the accomplishments in chapter 3, the 10 merits. By going into the masses together with our brothers and sisters, all those living bodhisattvas, and gathering the droplets little by little, doing bit by bit, accumulating over a long period of time, maybe even kalpas, to get back to our pure innate Buddha nature, while at the same time pass on the Dharma lineage without end. So my brothers and sisters in Tzu Chi, we are actually living in the right time, at the right place, heading in the right direction under Master's guidance, and constantly accompanied by living bodhisattvas walking on the same path. We will finish our journey together and become one. Kanlan for your attention and opportunity to share with you this evening. Kanlan.
感恩 so much, Brother Chris, for that very enlightening sharing compared to Brother Chris, because Brother Chris always speaks so calm and peacefully, and I have to breathe deeper, you know, when I listen to you talk. As compared to me, I'm always, you know, like going very fast. So it's a very good pace today, and I really enjoyed your sharing. And all the videos that Brother Chris has played for us, they're all very touching, very enlightening, and very meaningful. And all the more meaningful because this is the Sutra of Infinite Meanings, right? And really very thankful. And particularly today, if I may just share a little, my own heartfelt is truly the prince, the young prince, Brother Christopher Young. He made this equation. When he made this equation, when he presented the equation, it sounded so simple. Just take out the impure thoughts, then the affliction naturally disappear. So it's truly something that is very simple, yet so profoundly true. So, okay, I would like to now open the floor to any brothers or sisters who have also benefited or would like to share their heartfelt insights from Brother Chris' very relaxing, especially after a downpour today, the cool breeze of the evening, and I'm breathing deeply, so enjoying this session. I think the good thing is we have been together for almost coming to a year, and all the brothers and sisters here, that's why we are brothers and sisters, yeah, of the Dharma. We are all born of the Buddha's mouth. We are all the children of the Buddhas. So really, I would like to see or hear from brothers and sisters who seldom share your thoughts with us. Maybe today, you know, let's really have a family gathering and share our deep insights from Brother Chris, not Christopher, Brother Chris. Very heartfelt sharing, simple.
Yeah,
no.
I kept it very simple and I try not to use too much Dharma and Sutra wording so that it will be a relaxed.
So Master always say the simple things is good lah. So okay, shall we open the floor now? Just feel free to share because I don't want to pick names. I see Brother Chin. Dr. Koo is not with us today, I think, because he's very busy with his he has some family engagements. So maybe Brother Chin can, our Dharma guide or Dharma protector, can enlighten us further. Kan-en, Brother Chin.
Your sister.
you are also sent to us at the right time.
I'm just a participant here.
No, today you are our elder. Come.
Well, okay. Okay, just a couple of thoughts. I think Brother Chris, thank you for so clearly explaining that. You know, when you were speaking, a thought just came to my mind when you spoke about good deeds. And you also explain that there's so many people in this world, and as a Buddhist practitioner, we also endeavor to do good deeds. So, and I think as a whole, it makes a lot of sense. But if you break it down to some granular level, and there are different things of good deeds that we can do, right? So, for example, we get engaged into, say, home visits, helping the poor. So all of us will get into doing that. But then there are some people who sit back and say, that's not for me. So I think what I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, all the deeds that we do have to fit into various gaps. And so if one of the practitioners say, oh, I got all my brothers and sisters doing so much good deeds and helping the poor and so on and so forth, but here I am, all I do is I don't know, say for example, he or she could be coordinating work in playing a different role, but not at the front line.
Yeah.
So I think maybe you could expand a bit on the different types of good deeds. Does that mean that certain good deeds have more merits to the other, and people will just be wondering, okay? That's part of the good deeds that I'm just thinking how does the mind of some people would think in the different type of things that they do, because the role that they play are not at the front line, right? So they don't they're not so visible to be noticed, this so-called good deeds that they do.
Yeah.
I think the other interesting question that you posed, that you asked, the question, if I remember correctly, you said, do you believe that believing the Buddha Dharma will purify you and the world? I'm one of the one who did not respond. I did not respond because I couldn't understand the question.
Okay.
Because, and this is entirely my understanding, because the part about belief doesn't really move you very much. What moves people is the practice, not so much of the belief. And that's my first point. My second point is purifying ourselves. I think that's one makes a lot of sense. But to change the world, there's another. So I'm over the years of practice, I have lived by this guide that's for myself. And I say, for me, I say, be simple in life, to accept the things you cannot change, and have the courage to change the things you can, but have the wisdom to know the difference. Because change can only come from within oneself. I can't change Stephanie. I can't change Chris, right? So, but I can change myself, right? So the only thing one can do is to inspire others to change. So therefore, for me, I accept I cannot change the world. But this question is, how can I live in the world by changing myself? So that's a bit of a philosophical differences, I guess, from that point of view.
Okay, Brother Chin, very insightful question. The first one, when you talk about the good deeds, reminds me very much about Master's Tzu aphorism. He said that whatever you do, of course, everybody wants to do the big things and make it happen. But as a mother is who is that? The nun. She says that not everyone can get to do great things, but we can do the little things with great love, right? And she has influenced the world with the work that she has done. And it also reminds me of Master's Tzu aphorism. He says that whatever big thing that you build up, you also need someone to screw tight the bolts. Right? So you are doing the small good deeds. It's like just the bolts in a great big steel structure. If you don't tighten the bolts properly, the whole thing will fall down. Right? So doing small good deeds does make a lot of difference. Right? Just like that little kid along the beach, walking along the beach, you know, and you see the starfish on the sand, right? And he starts to pick them up and throw it back into the sea. You know? And then one passing guy says, "What are you trying to do?" Right? It's not possible to throw every starfish back into the sea, but he says, "I can make this one difference," and he threw one starfish back into the sea. Right? So it's that all these little bits that really makes the whole thing work. The other thing that you mentioned is, you cannot change the world. One person cannot change the world. But if everyone has been influenced, can be influenced to change themselves, that's where we get from 1 to infinity. Everything starts from 1. So we have to start from 1, right? But getting there, I'm very sure we will get there. Not this lifetime, not in the next few lifetimes, but eventually we will get there. I have faith that we will get there. It may not be the same world as what it is now, but definitely one of these days it will be a pure land on Okay, we can always start from ourselves, just change ourselves and then slowly, one by one. Yeah, you're saying, wisdom, they know the difference, what we can change and what we cannot change. What we cannot change, just accept. Yeah, there's a lot of Dharma in that as well. Yeah, no point to go and keep knocking your head against the wall, right? As what Einstein says, if you keep, you keep doing the same thing again and again, expecting different results, that is insanity. So I think we have to take it like that, Brother Chin. I don't know whether I answered what you're trying to
just a sharing of thoughts.
Right?
But the other interesting point is when you spoke about the 4th merit. The 4th merit is very much about having it's like in Cantonese say 怪人, right, to be on your path. I'm just wondering, as you were speaking just now, I was just wondering, what would be this? because they are all together, there are 10 merits, and each of them have different emphasis. I'm just wondering, what would be the virtues of your cultivation that would earn specifically the fourth merit?
Is this question to the floor, Brother Chin?
Yeah, just an open discussion.
Yeah, let's hear from.
It's an open discussion.
Let's hear from others.
May I answer?
Yeah, what is the?
May I try?
Okay.
I would think is that in your past lives or in the many of your lives, you have continuously created good affinities and become benefactors to others. Therefore, in this life, when you go back, when you connect back to the path of Bodhi, then you meet a lot of people who come and support you and help you as well, to guide you. Yep, that would be my answer.
I mean, you can. It just. I'm just asking. It's just a thought that just crossed my mind. I'm just wondering. So it'd be interesting to hear from everybody. You know, what they think.
I think it's not just what is in the first merit. Actually, you are talking about a universal truth. What Brother Chin talked about is actually a universal truth.
What would bring the benefactors up? Sorry?
If you do what is good is a equal and opposite reaction. This is what you get back. It's a universal truth. You do good, eventually it get back to you. If you help somebody in the past life, the affinities will come back and the karma will come back to you. So to me, it's I don't know. I may be very simplistic, but that's what makes the world goes around. Right? It's a universal truth.
Brother PS, do you have any insight you'd like to share with us? Brother PS, maybe?
Hi.
Brother, I see Brother PS giving us a lot of quotes already. Come, Brother PS.
Wow, you also look very relaxed, brother.
Hi. Yeah, Happy New Year. 恭喜发财.
Yeah, Happy New Year to all.
I think we don't need the vaccine anymore because with the fourth merit, everyone is acquainted and protected by the Bodhisattva.
Yeah.
So maybe that is a good solution for the world. In fact, personally, sorry, Dr. Chin, that I'm bringing I'm not addressing your question, but I just want to say what I feel about these particular fourth merits. When I heard about this is fourth merits, I keep going back and forth and trying to understand what this is all about. And it reminds me that every time when we do the chanting for the transfer of our merits to the Tata, that we have this phrase that we never receive from the companionship of our bodhisattvas. Remember this? That's the when we do the transfer of merit, 不退菩萨为伴侣. That means we are never received. We continue to walk this path together with the bodhisattva. And in this paragraph that I read, a very motivating phrase that it says that, okay, 以菩萨为眷属. In Mandarin, it's a very beautiful word. That is it says, when it translated, is becoming the related family members of a bodhisattvas. That is basically, if I literally translate it. And that is exactly when the Brother Chris made the conclusion just now. That is okay, get acquainted, get ourselves, being connected with this is the goodness, and hence you'll be protected. And because when we talk about being the family members, naturally, we always So when you're already the family members, definitely you'll be protected. So in in this case, is the if more scientifically, I will take it it is important to tune into the frequency of compassion, and usually this word compassion is regarded as a very Buddhist flavored, and it's for the Westerner they prefer to use love, of course. But today I'm so surprised to learn that the Oxford University's of the Mindfulness Center starts to have this study of compassion science. I think it is only starting off this year, and I'm totally impressed with that. And they published this book called The Handbook of Compassion Study. So come on, it gives us so much of the motivation, that compassion, that is the keep to the right path and keep to the right energy, and that is the way to go. And if I relate to my own personal experience, my grandmother she has never been to any formal education, but she believes in the chanting and the simple phrase. She only knows how to chant Amitabha, Amitofo, Amitofo. And this is a lot of affinities that come after that and lead us all the family together to be a better understanding, to a better Buddhist. And today, all of us in the family, we are all doing very good, and all of us are very thankful to my grandmother. And we strongly believe that we are all blessed and taken care of by the Bodhisattvas. And that is from our own experience, and we dearly feel that that is the blessing, right? And of course, some might ask, is the Bodhisattva really around us or not? Right? Is that really there or not? I just want to close this conversation from me. A few days ago, I was watching the story of a Master Tzu Chi over the Thai TV. And there's this one interview section that is a professor from the university. He says this. Everybody knows Xu Yun Lao Hesang. That is a very reputable old monk in China. So he was actually very impressed with the Manjushri's Bodhisattvas at the Wutai-san. So he wants to pay homage. So he took such a difficult journey to arrive at the Wutai-san. And then he was so disappointed that Manjushri's Bodhisattva was not there. So then he asked, then he has this conversation with an elder monk. Then the elder monk asked him, along the way of your journey when you come here, do you face any difficulties? Then he says that, yeah, I was so many challenges that's almost cost my life. But it's ironically, there's every time that these beggars, they always come by and then they become my lifesaver. So didn't you know that is Manjushri's Bodhisattva? That is and help you. And it's before that you come here, he already went there and then help you. And, this was we take it as a story. But I think it is very motivating to me that in life, no matter how good or bad situation that we face, is always that the Bodhisattva that is always around us, whether he's teaching us a lesson or is helping us or is encouraging us. I think that I'll take it that way. And
then Brother PS, that's very interesting actually. Yeah, Brother Chris?
We have to take that one step, to be in connection with the Dharma. Just that one step is enough, because that one step is the start of a journey. And
they said birds of feathers flock together, kan?
And the protection starts, the insurance and protection starts from that one step.
So I guess the moment that we have the resolve or our affinity or conditions ripen for us to have the resolve to walk the path, then we will meet with all the like-minded people who have perhaps cultivated for a very long time or are newly inspired. And I always believe we all practice as one. So, and we are all the nuts and bolts in the great machinery, which is the Tathagata enterprise. So like Brother Chris said, no deed is too small. you can be a small nut and small bolt in the back, like in the background, not the foreground. Yeah. So I guess none. That's why Master always say, 做好事不能少我一个, you know, 做坏事不能多我一个. So all of us are very important indeed. So all right. Are there any more brothers and sisters who want to share? Because I think we're coming very close to the end of the session. It's almost 9:45.
Brother, how about Brother Hing? Are you around, brother?
Yes.
Yeah. Say a few words, brother. Haven't seen you for a long time. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Okay. Regarding the Bodhisattva, very really angel or Bodhisattva around or not? The Christian will say it's an angel, you know, or we say our guardian angel, our protector. Now, also we can say, whether Bodhisattva or not. When we trouble, the Bodhisattva come and help us, right? Now, of course, we use the word Bodhisattva or use Deva, Devi, or even we use angel, right? All for my understanding is because of the merit that we have, right? Like Sister Kimberly mentioned about, we have created a good affinity. Yeah? Then in this lifetime, we met with the good people, and we meet with good people that always support us, right? And it's also part of merit as well. In the past life, in this life, in the past, we might have created a good affinity. At the same time, we could have cultivated a lot of practices in the past that accumulate a lot of good merit. Now, and the other day I was sharing with one of the sisters who she broke her leg, right, and was in very painful stage and in the hospitals, right. Now, and of course, because injury could be the certain condition that cause the bad karma to be ripened. But at the same time, if we were to look at it, one of the things is happened that the injury occurred in Malaysia, in a place where we can near the hospitals and where the specialists, the orthopedic is available. Imagine if she were to be, at that situation, born in Cambodia. Because I mentioned Cambodia because I remember during one of the outreach, yeah, and one of the villagers actually broken the thigh, the bones in the thigh, and actually bended in such a way, protruded one side. It had been 2 months without medical treatment, right? And of course, our Dharma doctor tried to arrange to go to the Pusa is so far away from Phnom Penh, right, where the hospital is available. See, if we broken our leg, right, and happen the hospital is around, specialist is around, and we have the money to buy insurance, and in order to have the treatment immediately. So you think all these treatments, all the condition that we have, it's actually like Bodhisattva actually around to help us. And what is this Bodhisattva? And it's because of our merit in the past that we have cultivated. Of course, the creating a good affinity with people is also a form of merit as well. And this is my understanding. Thank you.
Hey, cảm ơn very much, Brother Hing, for your insights. Brother Chris, you want to take over?
Huh?
You want to say something?
No, it's okay. You carry on.
Okay, so I think with that, we would like to thank Brother Chin for really opening up our minds to discuss the question further, and also Brother Hing, Brother PS, and all the Brother Chris especially for tonight's session.